How's it going, everyone? Gotta go over some pretty sad news in this video, and once again, another instance of a studio dropping something that's incredibly well received. And what happens to the developers and the workers that drop the well-received content? Oh, there's gonna be a restructuring. Oh, there's gonna be significant layoffs, and by significant, I mean this is massive as far as the future of Bungie goes. So let's go over the post that was put out on Bungie.net, the new path for Bungie, because there's a lot of interesting information, most notably, obviously, the layoffs, which is incredibly depressing. This morning, I'm sharing with all of you some of the most difficult changes we've ever had to make as a studio. Due to the rising cost of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. That is a gigantic, a monstrous number of people being laid off. Nearly a fifth of an entire studio being laid off is huge, especially a studio at the scale of Bungie. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for our departing colleagues, all of which have made important and valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we will be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the final shape, which we'll get to that after I go over the entirety of the post. But as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all other mitigation options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and our business with more realistic goals and viable financials. We are committing to two other major changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strengths, and create new opportunities for Bungie talents. First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into Sony Interactive Entertainment over the next few quarters. Now, what I am understanding is that isn't among the 220. That isn't among the people actually getting laid off. This is 155 roles being introduced. This is integrating existing roles, roughly 12% into Sony Interactive Entertainment over the next few quarters. Sony Interactive Entertainment has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us to save a great deal of our talent that otherwise would have been affected by the reduction in force. So the fact that they are reducing the 220 and this is reducing that reduction amount, they're just shifting those roles to Sony Interactive in-house, and 220 people are still being affected, so it could have been way worse than that. At the very least, that is, I guess, a silver lining. I can't even say that's a silver lining, but at least more jobs aren't being affected. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. So, a new first-party PlayStation studio is being created that is getting lost in the shuffle. Obviously, that is very much a lesser news story here when 220 people are losing their jobs, but it seems like, I would imagine, a large portion of that 155 is going to be baked into this brand new studio that they're creating with this brand new science fantasy universe, an action game. I was about to say a single-player action game, but it is going to be forming a new studio, and this is going to be their first project. And based on an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, fingers crossed it ain't another live service game. Obviously, Bungie is incredibly successful with the live service model with Destiny 2, but, you know, maybe it'll be something more up my alley. This will be a time of tremendous change for our studio. Let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It's important to understand how we got here. So, this gives us some of the clarity on why this is happening. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic showdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry over quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need need to give both the Final Shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. After this new trajectory became clear, we knew we had to change our course and speed, and we did everything we could to avoid today's outcome, even with exhaustive efforts undertaken across our leadership and product teams to resolve our financial challenges. These steps were simply not enough. As a result, today, we must say goodbye to incredible talent, colleagues, and friends. This will be a challenging time at Bungie, and we'll need to help our team navigate these changes in the weeks and months ahead. This will be a hard week, and we know that our team will need time to process, to ask questions, and to absorb the news. Today and over the next several weeks, we will host team meetings and town halls, team breakout sessions, and private individual sessions to ensure we are keeping our communication open and transparent. Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members building Destiny and Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. There will be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today, our focus is in supporting our people. So obviously, the elephant in the room has to be the timing of something like this, because in a vacuum, what people are going to assess this as is Final Shape just dropped. I'm not a big Destiny 2 player, but I have friends that are super into Destiny 2. You look at the Metacritic reception, you look at the general critical reception of Destiny 2 The Final Shape, it is an absolute slam dunk home run. After what I would imagine the majority of the Destiny 2 community considers to be an atrocity in Destiny 2 Lightfall, they bounce back in a big way after there was a slight delay with Destiny 2 The Final Shape, so they had to give it more time, because if Final Shape ended up being a disaster, I think that could have spelled really, really bad things for Destiny 2. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. The team did an incredible job with Final Shape by all accounts, but now this is how they are rewarded. I am at least, I'll give Bungie credit in giving this level of transparency where they gave you exact reasoning as far as where they messed up, where their calculations were incorrect, and that's why they have to do these layoffs. But guys, 220 people losing their jobs, that is absolutely massive. That is a gigantic reduction of a studio's workforce. On top of that, just the timing with after dropping something at the level of Destiny 2 The Final Shape just a month later. You know, Tango Gameworks put out Ghostwire Tokyo and then Hi-Fi Rush, two games that were critically well received, but to be perfectly honest, Ghostwire Tokyo was a brand new IP and it wasn't seeing the critical reception that Final Shape had, and it's not going to be that commercial juggernaut. Hi-Fi Rush was a smaller scale game. Both of those games were really well received. At the very least, the points I just brought up, you could at least come to an understanding, which I still think is ridiculous, about the closure of Tango. With this, Bungie literally just dropped Final Shape, which has over a 90 on Metacritic, so critically, slam dunk, reception from the consumers, slam dunk, and still 220 roles are being eliminated. They are also going to be baking 155 roles into this new PlayStation studio. That is not saving 220 of those jobs, so by how I am understanding this post, which is insane. They are obviously restructuring where Destiny and Marathon are going to be their primary goals. I am sorry, I do not expect big things out of Marathon. I might be wrong about it. You know, who knows? It just might be my pessimism with live service projects. We'll see how that turns out, but it would be a disaster if Marathon doesn't turn out to be a big title, but we'll see how that ultimately turns out, and hopefully it is good. And you know, it is interesting that Sony's creating a new first-party studio as well. Hopefully, that studio turns out to put out something of quality as well, and at the very least, those Bungie workers are gonna, you know, not lose their job, which is nice, but just super depressing news, you guys. Just incredibly depressing as far as, you know, dropping a title at the level of Final Shape and the general reception of Final Shape, and then still losing this level of jobs. It is seemingly an industry-wide issue where a lot of studios are reducing their workforce, but when you look at games like an Immortals of Aveum, when you look at games like Callisto Protocol, when you look at games like Forspoken, those games were commercial disasters, those games were financial flops, those games were critical failures. You know, Immortals of Aveum was okay received, but Callisto Protocol and Forspoken were critical failures. In this instance, Final Shape was a slam dunk home run, and still this is happening. And you look at Tango, Hi-Fi Rush, critical home run, Ghostwire Tokyo, critically fairly well received, and those games didn't leave Tango to continue existing. It's just a sad state of affairs where the game development and the economic situation with game development is a really big issue right now. But yeah, unfortunate news. Let me know everything you guys think, just unfortunate. But yeah, our well wishes to everybody affected with this situation, of course. And that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.